Hey, welcome to Windham Weekly Live, 456-1400 right here on WILI, 1400 AM and 95.3 FM, where we bring you exciting guests and topics every day about our community. And I'm your host, the great one, the voice of Windham, Ken Folan. And my co-host, you know him, he's the slug at the end of the column here, Mark Doyle. Yeah, the heart of Windham, the black heart of Windham. But we are here today with some special guests, and I know they're going to interest you. I know because you're going to make some phone calls in, ask questions, because it's not every day we see these folks on our show, and we try to get you as much current information as possible, especially what is near and dear to the heart of Mark and I, and that's the Windham Public Schools. Today we have our Executive Director of Multilingual and Family Engagement, Beth Brunet, and our Executive Director of Operations, Albie Harris. So before we begin with anything, folks, welcome and thank you for coming. Taking extra time out of your day to be with us and to share with the community. Beth, we'll start with you. Why don't you tell us your background, where you came from, and what your job responsibilities are.
Okay, I'm going to try to sum that up very quickly.
We're going to try to do that in less than a half hour.
Perfect. Yeah. So my background is that I basically have studied culture and language and education for quite a long time. I actually grew up very close by to Windham. I was in Canterbury as a young student, and then moved around and traveled the world and things like that. But never thought I would come back to Connecticut, and I have come back to Connecticut, and I'm still serving here in Windham. My interests are really around dual language education, providing language services to our students who may need them, and now I've acquired also the Department of Family and Community Engagement, and so those are the major roles that I'm playing right now for Windham.
So that family engagement portion, that was part of Bill Stover's responsibility back in the day,
right.
Correct?
Bill Stover, Robinson Camacho, and now me. Yep.
See, all great people.
Oh, yep, following all the greats, yeah.
Well, you know. And then we have Mr. Albie Harris, one of my favorite alums. He is. He's get to know Albie, you'll love the school district. Go ahead, Albie.
Absolutely, Ken. It's great to be here with you and Mark and Beth. I've been part of Windham Public Schools for 15 years as principal of the high school, and then also working in central office, covering many responsibilities and opportunities to work with everyone in the district. Currently, I'm Executive Director of Operations, overseeing facilities, food service, transportation, before and after school, and many other topics. But I have been in Windham for a long time. For a while, I lived on Foster Drive. I also did substitute teaching at Kramer many years ago.
Wow.
And then I did my student teaching at Windham High School. So been part of the Windham community for a long time, Ken.
Well, didn't you do a stint at the middle school as a principal, vice principal?
Yes, I was also at the middle school. I did 2 times supporting them when they were with the Commissioners Network, supporting them, organizing them in their instruction, classroom management, also with grants, and also data teams. So have worked there too.
I mean, I know, ladies and gentlemen, he has also been pivotal in our in the project at the high school. He's part of the building committee at the Renovate Like New project at Windham High School. And commitment and dedication just pales in describing his commitment to our district, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Ken. Yes, in our Renovate Is New project at high school went fantastic. Really welcome people to come to the campus. It is campus now because it has Windham High School, our Windham Early Childhood Center, but also central office. So it's been a transformation. It's a beautiful facility for everyone who uses it, students and staff. And then we also have all the fields, new turf field, which is good for the school, but also for the community. So we're really proud of the work that was done.
Yeah, well, it came out much better than I was a firm believer in knock it down. And put the high school new in that was Mark, to knock it, to build new in the back where the fields are, and then once completed, tear down the front and make your fields up over there. I was a firm believer in that, so I was kind of surprised when they asked to be on the committee, but I'm glad I was, because it was just, again, I have yet to volunteer for something for this community that I haven't taken more than I've given, and I've learned so much from what goes into a project like that. It's an enormous undertaking by a group of volunteers and our paid staff, but it was quite the experience, and it came out beautiful. I remember getting a tour with you, Albie.
Yep.
Wasn't quite complete then, but I was just like, am I in the same school building? And you hear that every day.
Yep.
You hear that every day, so I'm really happy.
And that's why I selected you, Ken, to be on that committee. Yes, I
I
did.
think the mayor selected
No,
me.
I selected you, Ken,
I
and
think
put your
it was
name in.
my mayor, Tommy D, who I adore and admire.
I put your name in to replace one of our other bottom line candidates. Remember the bottom line, right?
Yeah, the one I
Okay.
founded. Yes,
Yeah.
I do remember the
Oh, my
bottom line
God.
party. Let's not get into that.
The,
Beth,
the
what are
room is
some?
getting smaller by the minute here.
Yeah, well,
The ego builds up.
it's all part of life, Mark. You should know by now that you're to sit in that chair like
Yeah.
a little kid, and
Just
when I
keep-
point to you, you can speak.
Let's go to our guests.
Okay, so Beth,
Yeah.
see, ignore the elephant in the room.
Okay, I got a little elbow room here.
Exactly.
We're good. Yeah.
So let's get into details on the family engagement, because I people don't understand how important. I really don't believe they understand. And I've been on the Board of Ed forever, and I still don't get that they understand the importance of family engagement. I mean, there's some kids that really there's no support at all, and then that school is everything, and also the people who are in transition. Coming in from other countries, the whole 9 yards, the people who are just homeless, and pulling them into a district and not to fear our school system.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would look at it as a continuum, right? Families from all over the world go through various kinds of experiences, and we certainly host families from all over the world. And that doesn't mean we also don't have local families, but I would say that families do what they can. And families play the role that they were raised to play in terms of being in schools, right? So each location, every culture, every educational system teaches families how to participate in schools. And so I don't know that I would say that, students are just left alone, but families are doing what they can with what they have to get to school. And sometimes we have to do more to open more avenues and more possibilities for them to participate.
Maybe I phrased it wrong. I
Yeah.
didn't mean to say they were left
Yeah.
alone per se.
Right.
But when a kid is, especially at high school level, they're in, as
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
kids when they're in elementary school, mom and dads are holding their hands. By middle school,
Sure.
some of them are still tugging. But by the time they get to high school,
Yeah, I would say
that
by
kid
eighth
is on
grade,
is on his own independently in the sense to get there and do what you got to do. And
That's right.
that's to me is as crucial as middle school, because that's life decisions are being made then to
Yeah.
put them on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 older teenagers, right, and one's just now in their 20s. But I would say that it is more critical than ever to continue
Exactly.
participating in your child's
That's what I meant to
education
say.
all the way through. They may not think you're as cool as when you were, when they were little, but I think the parent or family participation, whoever the important people in the children's life, right, the participation could vary. It could look different for every family. But that they're participating, that there's some connection to school, that there's a stressed importance about school, and then that's really the kid's job, right, until they get older. So, having that
doesn't
kind of
end. It
Well,
doesn't
let's
end.
talk a little bit about the family resource centers that are available at the opportunities we have to help parents and children get together, because we have resource centers at I think every one of our elementary schools now.
No, we have a resource center at Natchog,
Natchog
but we
now?
have family liaisons at every school and family engagement throughout the district, sort of a department that really works with schools to stress the importance, not just about events really, but about how to think about family engagement in multiple ways, right? So we're not just talking about coming to parent-teacher conferences and coming to the events. That's one way to participate. But how else can parents participate? Can they participate through the school governance council or the parent-teacher organization, or can they volunteer in classrooms? There's a number now of ways that parents and families and grandparents can participate. And so I think that's, broadening the scope is really a challenge for a lot of places. I think Windham's gotten very creative over the years with all the different directors on how parents and families can participate. But the stressing that families are still needed, even as kids get older, right?
Right.
That they still
And I know we've
play an important role.
we faced problems with grant money drying up and other monies drying up, but we've also been involved in parent academies and,
Sure. Yep.
and setting those up and with access agencies and whatnot. Are we still actively working
So
there?
actually, now that I've just more formally acquired the department, so that's what we're talking about now. With it's a very small staff, and we have a couple of vacancies, so we're sort of in a rebuild stage. But we started talking about, what are the kinds of parent programs that have been offered in the past, classes. What are the kinds of things that we want to take on again in the near future? We typically, in the past, have offered like a parent community university,
Right.
PCU. There is a parent advisory committee that has talked to the superintendent in the past. Every school has a school governance council, PTO. There are often specialized events that they host during the summer or on certain nights or evenings, right?
One of the other activities that I'm hoping to bring back is Bill Stover and I, back in the day, created the before and after school task force, which brought in agencies from the whole area, because we deal a lot with Eastern and Yukon. Those students are actively involved in our programs, and we also had the Red Cross, United Way, as well as the other preschools. So I'm hoping we can get back to bringing that task force back together. It was very, very helpful in bringing thousands of dollars into the system.
Sure. We also go out to multiple organizations and task forces and coalitions. So, yes, there's an idea of building our own, but there's also the idea of us making sure to attend those that already exist in the community as a kind of participant or equal player. And our family liaisons have typically done that, and we're talking about how are we going to be doing that again in the near future. So.
Great. Albie, let's take a couple of your jobs. One you said was dining. Or food service. Well, it's
Food
dining.
service,
Dining.
dining, yes.
Fancy.
It's a campus, it's
Yes.
all dining services.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10,000-foot view, because I'm sure you're not out there, monitoring the heat temperature of a meatball. So
Not yet, Ken, but would be available to do it if
you
needed.
look good in an apron. But anyway, what's the latest with that? Have they done anything new as far as nutrition goes? Is it more fresh, less?
So Eric
less
Fall is our food service director, who's been in the district for quite a while. So he's always working on what is the nutritional requirements by the government, because we do provide breakfast for all students and lunch for all students at no cost. And then in addition, we tried a variety of hot meals, but also cold meals, and a menu which the students like. By seeing what we try, if they like it, we continue it. In addition, talking about the environment, with our Renovators new project, especially at the high school, we have more of a what I would call a college level dining experience. So that's a major transition. We also, with food service, they also made another transition at Windham Middle School with the 5th grade there. We had 2 lanes for food. We opened up a 3rd one. We want to be able to provide the food as quick as possible to students so they can have their hot choice or their cold choice and be able to sit and then enjoy a meal with their friends.
I'm not sure people are familiar that this is a year-round service, that we're providing food for the recreation day camp and other agencies and other feeding spots during the summer. If you want to give us a little highlight there.
Absolutely, Mark. We have a meal program, a summer's meal program, where we have stations where individuals, people from the community, can come and pick up breakfast or lunch. We also have our summer school programs, which also provide breakfast and lunch. So food service provides a lot of meals, not just for our students, but as you mentioned, Mark, our summer meals program for people in the community.
When I was on the board, Albie, we hit the threshold, and it's an unfortunate threshold, I think, to hit, where 85% of the students qualify for free and reduced. Are we still holding to that with the cuts in the federal government?
We're right around the same level, but as I mentioned earlier, we're providing free breakfast and free lunch to all students.
But even with the federal cuts is what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Currently, right now, we're still able to provide that
Okay.
and meet that need for all of our students. Obviously, it's critical, as we know, nutrition is important for students to be in a positive place so they can learn.
To lessen any waste, and I'm not saying there is any waste in all our cafeterias, but, especially with fresh product, apples, the hand fruits and whatnot, do we offer any, I call them backpack programs where the kids leave and you can throw a banana or an apple, something, so they have something in their stomach after school while they're waiting to get home for, a snack?
So once again, we provide those fresh fruits at lunch. If the students don't want them, they leave them behind, but then we also have those available for any after-school programs
That's
or
good.
any
Okay,
students
perfect.
after school. So those are still utilized and provided for students who are hungry and after school.
Well, there's always going to be a kid hungry, that gap between you getting out of school at 3:30, and then dinner's not till 5:30, 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever mom and dad are around with the rest of the siblings. So I'm just wondering if they had hand fruits and things like that, almost like a program where the kids walking out the door, you want an
Yep.
apple, you want
We
this?
collect them, but we also, some of our coaches collect those and provide them to the athletes also too.
Okay.
So nutrition is a critical component.
Correct. It's one of those factors in getting your test scores up, my friend.
Absolutely.
You can't
One of our-
run on an empty stomach.
One of our dynamic changes this year is when we closed Windham Center and moved the kids back into the middle school, which is where we had originally designed them to be. So how is that transition going? I haven't heard any real problems at all.
So once again, Mark, we did close Windham Center School, as you know, I did meet with the town on Monday, and we have transferred that over to the town.
They have the keys now?
They have the keys. The keys are in their hands. But we're still supporting and collaborating with them as needed with this transfer time. So I mentioned to them we're still available. Our maintenance people are still available as needed to support them in the transition. But our fifth graders at the middle school is going very, very well. As part of preparing for them, we took that fifth grade wing and we went through, cleaned it. It's fresh paint, classrooms, hallways, bathrooms, offices, and we have brand new furniture for the fifth grade students, teachers, and administration throughout that fifth grade wing. So we really wanted to make it as a welcome, exciting learning environment. And then on top of that, with our fifth grade teachers coming from all of our elementary schools,
Right.
and blended them together, but we also made sure all their materials were brought and available this summer. They've worked extremely hard to prepare. Many of those teachers were in the middle of summer, getting their rooms ready, getting their materials ready, and so it's going very well, and that transition
So
is taking
with
place.
that transition happening across the district now, and you can both chime in on this for your opinion, how is our staffing level? I think that's something that, we had the police chief and the fire chief on last week and found out the fire department's in good shape staffing wise. It's the police department's still kind of shorthanded. I know you're always going to have your shortage areas.
Sure.
That's especially these days.
Yeah.
But how are we looking as a district? And also, I think the question has always been to the naysayers, well, how many positions were cut or lost at the transition? How much money did we save from closing Windham Center? And I keep telling people, you got to look to the big picture when there's one building, we hope, that's supported, and having everyone on the same page academically as well. That's what I see the best, and never mind the financial.
Yeah.
The most important thing to me, if I'm, had young kids again, God forbid, don't let that happen. But I mean, the one building where everyone, because there's always been that school is a blue ribbon school, that school was this, and there was always, I always felt, as a board member, that why can't we all be on the same page? And you got, different administrations, different, organizational charts in the building. Some people might get more phys ed than others. Some might more arts than the others. Back in the day, I mean, right now it's still separate because you have three left.
Correct.
What I'm getting at is my hope for the new school is that it benefits academically more than it does fiscally. I mean, I mean that. So where are we with the staffing? Then you can get into that other half.
I'll start with it.
Sure.
I think we've done a whole lot of reporting on staffing and budgetary cuts, actually. I mean, most of our reporting comes through, our Board of Education meetings and meeting with the Board of Finance. I would say that, we're in a tough position right now. We're asking people to go vote for a 0% budget, and and it's never a good place to be. And we have yearly increases and contractual and benefits increases that we're required to provide. And so in order to provide those increases now, we had to make cuts in order to guarantee contractual increases, right? So, you have to make cuts to get to a 0 is a little bit of a depressing way to start the year.
Of course it is, yeah.
We did make position cuts. We have made programmatic cuts, and we have a few more that we would be required to make if people, right, are understanding the needs of the schools.
No, there's no argument here about the funding. That funding level needs to be improved. Sure. But I guess my specific question
Staffing is bare bones.
Sometimes I can ramble. Did you notice that, Albie?
Yeah.
Occasionally.
But I think my direct question is area shortages at the high school, middle school. I mean,
so there's some vacancies. I mean, there are vacancies,
still,
like you said, in the shortage areas, right? We're always going to need more math teachers.
Yeah.
We're always going to need more world language teachers. There's certain shortage areas, special education.
Yeah.
But our vacancies are fewer than ever, and
good.
That has also to do with the shaving down of positions, right? So we've kept our teachers that were there. We cut vacancies where we could, and so we have fewer vacancies at the moment. So staffing is what it is right now. Do we always need more in certain areas? Yes.
But you're still a shortfall, even with all, because I know the cuts were made elementary wise, but so you should be pretty good in those areas,
the cuts were made everywhere. I mean,
I know they're made
specific,
everywhere.
yeah.
When you close down a school building, you have to have lost some positions there.
So actually, we could talk about that a little bit. We didn't really cut staff in closing the school, except where resources overlap.
Right.
So
exactly.
just let's be real clear. We didn't. Those students still exist. those classrooms were shifted to other schools.
No, I get
right?
it.
So somewhere we might save in somewhere like a service area where there were 2 interventionists, but now there's 1.
Yeah, I
But
get
the
it.
classroom teachers went to other schools, and the classroom teachers went to grade 5, where Albie's talking about the new wing.
Yeah, but well, you understand what I'm saying. I mean, dramatically, there should be no shortage in the elementary levels.
Right, we
of
should be
teaching.
pretty good,
You
yeah.
wish you would had more. I wish you'd had more because the class sizes would come down. I'm well versed in the need. Believe me.
And the other thing, Ken, is really important that as we made this transition, we wanted to provide jobs for all people who had jobs.
yeah.
Right.
That's the critical piece.
Yeah.
So as we had openings, whether high school level, middle school level, or elementary level, we moved the pieces around so that everybody who did have a job still had a job at the start of the school year.
That was probably one of our biggest successes, actually,
Yeah.
was that we didn't have to lay anyone off, right? That you saved all of the teachers who were employed are employed or were offered employment. If they chose to leave, it's
So,
different. But
so for the community to know that the savings really came in the operational expense of a building,
Well,
maintenance.
operational, absolutely, because we're not paying the utilities for that space, we're not doing all the services, so a number of those pieces. And it's one less property that we have to take care of the grounds and the maintenance. So we did, but I think the important thing for people to understand is there was a large reduction in staff from last year to this year.
right.
Absolutely.
And
This,
so
you got a haircut and a half.
that was, a big impact.
There was some
And
staff that we didn't refill that position. We tried to avoid layoffs whenever it was possible,
Right, exactly.
and maintain our the loyal staff that we have. Obviously, at some point in the future, we may have to face layoffs if we can't find the dollars to help pay for some of the stuff. But part of the process of closing Windham Center was, again, it's a combination idea. We were having smaller groups spread out over buildings, which was costing more money. So by closing Windham Center and moving those kids into the spaces we had available at Natchog, North Windham, and Sweeney, and then moving the 5th grade back, where we were able to, as they pointed out, Albie pointed out, we were able to reduce down the line the overhead and the cost of that. And hopefully the town council is working on repurposing that building to get it off the rolls and back into active tax. I must assume there are a number of preschool centers out there that may want to lease the building or take the building.
That building could be used for so many, whether it could be another healthcare facility, it could be, like you said, another a preschool program, private thing,
Right.
and get put on the tax rolls and all this other stuff. I just want the community to be supportive of and understand the dire need of the situation of this budget. I mean, because I don't know what would happen if they didn't pass it. Because you're asking for zero, you can't go any lower in meeting your MBIs. I'm trying to remember my acronyms.
MBR, yeah.
Yeah. You can't go any lower. So,
Yeah.
and then I think the new school idea
Yeah.
is on the ballot for November, right, Mark?
Yeah, November 4th.
November 4th.
So, I
we
mean,
can get into that as well because
Yeah.
actually that's a very important thing to get into because we have a November 4th budget a vote coming up for the new school. Actually, the budget vote is coming up September 30th. But as you said,
Right.
Ken, we're at 0% now. They can't cut the budget anymore, so we're hoping to get it approved so we have the support. But one way or the other, it doesn't go any lower than zero.
right.
So-
I mean, we can't look at a zero next year for the school district. It's not going to happen.
It's not sustainable.
Right, and I don't know what you're hearing from the state level, screaming at the federal cuts already, and the implications it's having on programs right in town with the Ray Armenia's group, the food pantry.
Okay,
The
yep.
$200,000 cut.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money when it comes to giving food to people who are in desperate need.
Yeah.
They're threatening all kinds of
And
service
then-
programs. Sure.
And then, as we all know, and it's really important for people to understand, is that our operating costs increase,
right.
right?
Every year.
Our electrical, our oil, our gas, our transportation. So our, just like everybody else's home,
Contract and benefits, right?
Yep, benefits,
just normal.
contract negotiation. So it's a tremendous challenge, and we want to continue to provide the best services for our students because they deserve it. They deserve that, and it only enhances our town because, as we know, many of our students then continue to be part of our community and give back to our community. So it's the most important investment we can make for the community.
I always call the public school district as our largest economic driver.
Yep.
In every
we hope so.
in
Yeah.
every it is in every aspect. In every aspect of life in Windham, that school district is important. You know, the test scores are important, but beyond the numbers, those students are important. Those families are important, and our staff are extremely important to keep the wheels on the bus rolling. Speaking of wheels on the bus, you must be in charge of transportation too, Mr. Operations.
Yes. Also transportation and
That contract must be going up.
Well, it goes up. You know, we have those agreements, and that's standard practice for it to go up. But once again, our transportation, which is M&J, worked collaboratively with them this year because we did make many changes for our bus routes throughout the district, because all of fifth grade is coming to the middle school except for those that go to Barrows. And then also we, as we know, talked about close to Windham Center, so those students then go to North Windham and Sweeney. So there was a lot of work done. I really appreciate everybody's patience, working with the schools, working with the bus company, working with the families as we reroute, and we've had some bumps, but I think we're in a really good shape now.
Correct. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Windham Weekly on Thursdays between 4 and 5, but we will be moving our time slot before you know it. That's right. This is the voice of Windham, and I'm telling you like it is. So I'm here with my co-host, Mark Doyle. We have the Director of Multilingual and Family Engagement, Miss Beth Brunet, and our Executive Director of Operations and many other titles, Albie Harris. So don't hesitate to call 456-1400. Mark?
I'll
Wake
call
up.
right now.
See, Doyle, wake up. See,
call
this is
right
why I got to carry this is why I'm tired. I have
Let's
back
talk
pains.
about the big news coming up is our move to try and consolidate all our grade schools. And this was a move the Board of Ed has talked about for years, but it is driven partly by enrollment. It's also driven partly by the fact that the existing buildings are getting very aged and are going to require some significant increases, and the fact that it's when you're dealing with a building like Natchog, which is 3 floors, it makes education difficult, and when you're dealing with fractured classes where you only have 1 or 2 grades at each school, it makes it difficult for the teachers to do their combined. So one of the main things I think that the board was looking at is that this is going to help the education for all of our students by putting them together. We should be able to do a lot more in terms of special programming as well as coordinating the activities of the programs.
Yeah, I think you're jumping right into the benefits, Mark. I think the benefits of, we're forced right now to really start consolidating, whether we have a new building project or not, right? We're consolidating in schools by combining classrooms, because we have classrooms that have very low numbers or low enrollment trends, and we're trying to get smarter and sort of more balanced in schools in doing that, and be fiscally responsible, right, in doing it. But really, if students were all located in one building, the benefits are, we kind of always say they're kind of innumerable. In terms of teaching and learning, we offer a lot of specialized programs right now in Windham. They're located in all 3 elementary schools. And the trick is now with a lower number of kids, we have actually busing going all over the district right now, right? Transportation is...
We don't really have the traditional neighborhood school any longer because we are sending kids around the district because of the various special programs we have.
Right. We locate a specialized program in each school, right? And so...
In addition, we have Charles STEM, C.H. Barrow STEM Magnet School, right? So we have our K-8 students going there, and then we have our dual language program in North Windham, and then we have our specialized programs in the schools, and then we have out of area. So we're busing.
Right, and we have our other dual language program in all 3 elementary schools.
So,
yeah.
But we're busing people everywhere in all different directions. So it is a challenge. If we had one elementary school in one location, we could be much more efficient.
Right.
And it would be easier, not just for our students, but also with families.
That's a huge, trust me, in my industry, transportation is in routing, we call it routing optimization. They will ask you to route a truck 2 miles just because they can save 2 miles. Because it's X amount to stop a truck at a unique business and make a delivery. And it's the same with the busing company. I'm sure that, M&J has probably lost their minds once we got Barrows online, and now with what happened with this closing. So I'm sure when the puzzle's all complete, And again, my ask of the community is to support this in November. I think it's gravely important to, again, number one factor is academic achievement, and I think you'll see an improvement. Again, you want to see that improvement at the high school, it's got to start at the foundation, the pre-K and the elementary schools. And if that happens, your transportation costs will go down as well as the operational costs of these other buildings. So there's a great benefit in many ways to this program. But I'm sure M&J must have, somebody like me and that could do route optimization and just make it work for now.
Yeah, I mean, we're constant working with M&J, the busing company, but, once again, it's one piece of a tremendous improvements both in our learning, teaching and learning, but also in our operations to have one consolidated elementary school. And that facility would be state-of-the-art and provide multiple learning environments that will be available to all of our students that are currently in 3 different elementary schools. So we want to make sure we have consistency in planning with our teachers to provide this opportunity and have state-of-the-art schools and classrooms.
Safety features, like
Yep.
things we don't even really think about. If it's really easy, I think, when you continue to with the buildings you're used to not think about what you're missing. And what's been changing over the years, that if you don't see it, you don't maybe question it. But to have a modern building, to have modern technology, to have safety features that we know are needed, right? And to have, all of the outside fields and things that the community and children can benefit from, it's just sort of a dream, right? I think it'd be great for all of our students in our community, but we're a little ways off. We need the community support.
Right. It also allows us to do things like, right now, if we wanted to run a special program for kids in terms of computers or whatever program we want, we would need to provide 3 different teachers to coordinate that program with the one building. Now we can combine that and just do it with one staff person and make sure that all the kids are getting the quality programming. So that's all part of the consolidation that we're looking at.
And when they have guest speakers like me to come in to do motivational speaking,
You only have to do it once.
it's a one call. I'll give you guys a discount.
Right, yeah.
I'm available for graduations as well. Albie.
We'll call you in on the day off, Ken. Don't worry.
You see how he is, Albie?
I know.
I
It's
know.
awesome.
One of the other things we need to note is that we're also in a situation as a
Alliance
word right Alliance District School that the 80% at this point we're projecting that 80% of the cost of this building will be picked up by the state. So it makes for an excellent purchase, if you will, for us, is that the local tax dollars will only be supporting 20% of that purchase, and those tax dollars will be bonded, so they'll be spread out over a
And
10-year
people,
period.
the concern that you hear from some people is the bonding burden that we have now is $4.5 million a year of payment. But in a couple of years, by the time this thing gets approved,
Right.
the design, God forbid, the color of the wall paint hasn't been picked yet. It's going to take 3 to 5 years, maybe longer, to get it done. And by then, probably another 2/3 of the bonding will have fallen off the payment schedule there. This is the reality of life. This community doesn't have a bank account to go and say, oh, we need $100 million to take care of this project. Some communities are fortunate and they have that money. They can put it away in a few years with tax dollars. We don't have that luxury. And there's a great need for what the plan is. But please don't worry about the bonding. As we go every day, every year, every month, the payments are made on what we have now. The note expires. We're done with that one. Yeah, it's like starting a new car payment. But and if we get this thing done now, we get just 20% fiscal responsibility to the local tax dollar. You can't complain about that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and another really important piece to it, because we have Natchog, Sweeney, and North Windham, and we are constantly working on those schools to make sure that they're providing the learning environment necessary for those students. But as we continue operating those buildings, there are major costs involved, and so those are going to add up over time. So the best thing to do is to move forward with a consolidated new elementary school, which is supported. The cost, as Mark mentioned, by the state of Connecticut, it could be 80, it could be 85%. And then the town would pick up the 15 to 20%. But on the flip side, if that's not done, there has to be major repairs, updates with the HVAC systems, the boilers,
The
all
roofs.
the roofs.
Yeah. You're talking about buildings that are 60 to over 100
Right,
years old.
and so those costs are going to continue and go up as long as we operate those buildings.
There's no one who wants a car payment, right?
Right.
But you can only keep putting so much money in a car. Now, the roof at Natchog in particular, the last time that was touched, I was
2013.
still a school board chairman, and I was on that roof because the water was just collapsing in. I stood on that roof. They blamed me because I was fat. Imagine that. They didn't blame Perzanowski, the superintendent at the time. They blamed me. What, he was skinny. That's what happens. But that's what I'm getting at. It's been that long since someone stood on that roof and looked around. I mean, it's going to come due. And hopefully not soon, and not before the new one is built, because that's a major expense to fix that.
Yeah.
Then you got the wells over at North Windham. You got this, you got that oil. I mean, in Sweeney, I mean, they've been begging for a separate auditorium /
cafeteria.
cafeteria.
Yeah, the cafeteria.
I mean, and I remember the old phys ed teacher there, Miss Kim Switchenko, when I went to a tour of that many years ago, and she goes, "Oh, look at my office. It's an old shower." But I don't know if they still use that as the office.
You were mentioning old as in terms of her experience, right?
Her experience,
Right,
yes.
All
So, please,
spaces
Dan,
are
I
used.
would never disrespect your
No,
wife.
no,
Kim's a
disrespect.
wonderful person.
Right.
But what I'm getting at is, these are visions that I have that this is your office. This is the best we can do is put you in an old shower stall. I mean, these buildings are done. They're done.
And you bring up a good point. At Sweeney
Albie,
School,
don't mean to interrupt you, but of course I bring up a good point. I'm the voice of Windham.
right? But once again, for people to understand, their gym is their cafeteria,
Yes.
and the cafeteria tables fold up into the walls, and
Yeah.
so. To provide programming and learning environments, but also have physical education, really need to have opportunity and spaces for both to take place at the same time, and also feed the students. So
Now,
Well, it's-
we intend to have many more or several public forums. I don't know if you guys have the
Yeah,
dates. I
well-
know my committee's working on it for next week, but
We have a whole list
we
of
have
public events and outreach
public-
events coming up.
So there'll
and-
be plenty of time for people to come out and listen. Are we going to announce them to the schools? Do you have any of the dates now that you want to announce?
I don't have the dates with me. I did just see the list that was talked about at the last ad hoc meeting. There will be forums that we will host, and there are also many events where we go out to the event and speak
Yeah,
as a
there's
representative.
one tonight, as I recall. Is there?
Tonight is North Wyndham's open
Wyndham.
house, and Dr. Gometto is there, and we'll be talking about this to any of the
And I
families
know
that are interested.
Katina's from Urbana. Katina will be there from the board, and I think Lynn Ide will be there from the board. So there'll
And
be
then-
people there to answer your questions about the new school as well as what's going on at that school, because it's a part of their open house. But
Right.
there'll be many opportunities for people to get involved in
Third
ask
Thursday.
questions.
Third Thursday is a great time to come ask questions. The 16th is Sweeney's open house. So these are open just to our families, but I'll be at the Sweeney open house for that night. And then we have Third Thursday on the 18th. So if you want to see us here on the street, we have a table and we can answer questions there.
That's great. Beth, Beth and Albie, I see you brought some sheets with you. Take this time if you want to go through and share the talking points that you want to hit upon. Because I'm titled, it's the Mark Doyle talk.
You want to take a? Is there anything you think we haven't
This is why
said?
we're going to
that-
change the name to the Ear of Windham, so you can actually listen for occasion.
Ken, we've talked about a number of the key points, both Beth and I, to incorporate those. But I think the critical piece, I hope that the community is understanding that, yes, it would be a new consolidated school for K-4, but it's also a brand-new school facility and fields for the community. So when you have these wonderful updated schools, it's a bonus not just for the teaching and learning, the students, the staff, the families, but also the community to utilize this space. So we're looking also at what fields could be available, how can we use that facility for everyone. So it's a tremendous gain. I'll go back to our high school renovated as new project. Our fields are used all the time by everyone, both in the community, outside the community, in the school itself. So once again, this is a big bonus for our school system, but also our community at large.
Couldn't agree with you more.
No, I mean, for me, it's I don't want to be like corny. No one wants to assume that the taxpayers or community members don't want to invest in their future. But I don't know if we can really describe enough how, you can choose to invest in multi-million-dollar renovations and capital improvement projects on 3 buildings, or you can choose to build a newer building that has things that many other schools have today, and decrease your repair costs for a while, and offer students more modern ways of learning, right? And right now we don't have access to a lot of those things. So I think that you're really talking about it. Really is the car analogy, right? Like, are you going to invest in the newer car that needs fewer repairs, or are you going to invest in the 3 old cars that are sitting in the driveway and you're taking turns on which one you're using, depending on which one's running better, And I don't know. It's time, I think.
And I think we have the talent within the school district to, if you can get through a $112 million renovation project, which is a nightmare.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It's like renovating your kitchen at home versus, okay, maybe it's time to upgrade the house. It's been a while to move on. But to build from new, Albie, can you imagine so much less than once the decisions are made?
Absolutely. When we did the high school project, and we're finalizing that right now, it was over 3 years, but we were in it as we were renovating it. Important thing to know is this is building as new. I've been working and talking with some of the companies that do that work, construction companies, and they can do that in, I say, 14 to 15 months.
Exactly.
So we're, once we get started, a lot can happen quickly, and that would just benefit. And also, once again, cost savings. The sooner we start, then the better off we are financially, because costs just continue to go up.
Mm-hmm. So let's stop the conversation, right? In the respect, and start taking some action, Doyle. Get out there with the Board of Ed.
I've been working on this for a year and a half, Ken, while you've been sitting in
on
the
your
background.
duff for like 25 years there.
I've been working hard.
Can you do something and say I was able to accomplish this? That's because Albie's waiting. He wants to be the GM on this project.
I was working on the health insurance.
GC.
Now I'm working on this project.
GC, whatever the heck the title is these days.
Actually, we've been talking about school consolidation since 2020.
Yes.
The presentations go back that far.
Yeah,
Well, the first time there was a mention of Natchog being closed was when Mr. Perzanowski was in charge.
Oh, yeah, way back, yeah.
And way back when. And, the savings are going to be $1 million. And of course, the outlaw from, they want to keep that building there because of the community, this and that. The time has come. I mean, with that roof project, the holes, the water, the floodings, it has cherished memories. But it's, something, this population has completely shifted. It's a whole different group of people that are here. And it's time that, let's engage and support this new community and the needs that these new kids are going to have. My kids have been out of school for quite a while now. One's 36, 33, and 30. They all go wonderful careers. They're all settled, and they thought they knew everything until I met this new teacher who's 26, right? And it's Mike Hope, and then I meet some of the young kids as they intern for me and stuff, and it's just like, how'd you do that with that? No, I'm not a dummy. Well, I'm not the smartest bulb out there. But I mean, these kids have the technology, and if we can pass that now, and in 5 years get it done. So one more ask. Again, a very, Mark and I really, it's a heartfelt thank you for taking the time out of your day. It's an extended day for you, time from family, etc. We appreciate you being out here for the community. And I know your office numbers are always open. Your doors are always open. So if you want to contact these guys, if you want to stop at the school, please do so. I'm going to ask only one more favor of you. I ask it of Iris Gomero, the new superintendent. I ask it of Neil Weathers. Could be a radio host, that guy. He's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Is if you know something that's going on special, no matter what the grade level, get the teacher, get the kids. We love having the kids on. We promoted that play for the middle school and so on, the athletic department, but there's much more.
We had the valedictorian on.
We had the valedictorian who ended up being in the parade, by the way, because of the Windham Weekly Show, because of the voice of Windham. But anyway, we need to engage. Mark and I would go 20 guests at public education, and then whoever else, because this is what we want to talk about. Yeah. This is what I think the community needs to hear about time and time again. So I want to thank everyone who's listening today to Windham Weekly. We'll be here not next week because the
Red Sox are playing.
The Red Sox are playing, and management always seems to schedule those games on Thursday afternoons. I don't know why, but the following week we'll have a special guest, and we'll move forward. Hopefully it'll be someone from the school who made an honor roll or whatever. There's a special program. Put the bug out to your administrators in the buildings. That's what we want to have on here. Showcase the kids, showcase the community's future. That's what I believe every student is. They're our future. So thank you again for tuning in to Windham Weekly.